Cymbal felts, do we need them? Do we not need them? Why are they there? A lot of you have asked questions, especially on the gigging drummer videos that I do whenever I go into a club and I don't put top felts on there, or I don't put wing nuts on there, or anything to keep the cymbal on there. So let me kind of walk through that and explain, are felts really necessary? Do we need them? And if so, where do we need them? And where are they not really necessary? We kind of look at this, so I'll just kind of set this camera here. Looking at this, I've got obviously a cymbal here. And on the stand, you've got several components that are happening for a cymbal to be safe, so you don't ruin the cymbal, because you can get keyholing within that cymbal. And I've actually got a cymbal that has some keyholing. That's where it's the cymbal that I got when I was 15. And so that's whenever it's sitting, instead of having this felt, it's sitting metal on metal. Some of you are cringing right now. It's sitting metal on metal. When you crash, it's rubbing against that metal. Anytime that happens, that's gonna give you, oh no. The issue is, so we know we need these guys, right? We need that plastic sheath to cover up that metal. Anytime you have metal on metal, it's not good. Like, that's not a good thing to have metal on metal. And so what you want to do is avoid that. Now, is there anything wrong with this? Putting it on there like that? No, not really. To me, it affects the tone of the cymbal a little bit. And so I like to have an underfelt. If I put felts anywhere, I'll put an underfelt. And oftentimes in the gigging drummer videos, if you don't see me with a felt on top, it's oftentimes because I had to make that choice of, do I have a top felt or do I have an underfelt? As well, if I don't have, a topper for that cymbal, then that felt's gonna fly off anyway. Oftentimes you will see many jazz players, and they feel that the felt, anything touching the top of the cymbal, in other words, less contact with the cymbal, the better. The less surface space that has something contact to it, because that cymbal rings, and even a little felt is gonna affect that sound. So you'll see a lot of jazz drummers, no top felts, because again, that cymbal's not gonna come up, especially when you're playing a style like jazz where you're not just bashing those cymbals. But let's walk through, for instance, on a crash cymbal, I'm getting over sinus infection, so pardon if my voice goes croaky. Do we need a felt on the bottom? Yes and no. So here's the deal. The felt on bottom is going to protect the cymbal on the bottom, so I appreciate the felt on bottom. The problem with not having a wing nut on top and a felt on bottom is whenever we put the cymbal back on, you can see it's sitting pretty high. So if I start crashing that within the sway, area, you can see it's coming pretty close to hitting the top of that plastic, and if I hit it double, it's gonna pop up off that stand a little bit, and then you're gonna get something like this. Okay, that's never a good thing, and that's, to me, a problem. So at that point, if I've got like a little plastic up here to metal, I'm wanting to have a topper so that I can simply keep that cymbal from popping up on that plastic part. But a lot of times, my bottom felts are not near this big, because the bottom felt, again, we're reducing as little friction as possible with that cymbal. So oftentimes I'll put a smaller felt on the bottom, which still protects the cymbal. And now you'll see that cymbal's not even coming close to the top of that plastic. And in that case, I can play on that for most of the night and never have an issue, okay? Very rarely do I have an issue when I've got that much plastic on top. So I actually, it's a love-hate with top felts, especially whenever I'm sitting in on a gig and I go in, they've got a house kit. If it's a choice between tops or bottoms, I'm always gonna go with bottom felts in the felt department. I always want to keep the metal on metal from happening. And so anytime, my biggest concern going and sitting on a kit is protecting the cymbal from this, and then also putting some type of felt there at the bottom so that the cymbal can rest on that, and there won't be any damage even from hard plastic or whatever affect that sound. It kind of, sometimes you can get a weird clangy sound between the hard plastic and the cymbal. So that protects that, and it's not gonna pop off that stand. You can see I'm just kind of hitting it a good bit. But again, when you've only got a little bit of, it's a sharp cymbal, ouch. When you've only got a little bit of plastic there and a big felt, that's going to be a little bit of a problem, because eventually if you hit 2 or 3 times in a row on that crash and it's popping up, it may pop up and go lopsided on you like that. So in those instances, I would want a plastic piece a little bit higher. So that's my thought on felts. So yes and no. No, you don't really need top felts, but if you don't have top felts with something to make sure the cymbal is there, then you need to have enough of the plastic sheet that it's not going to be a problem. When I'm playing my ride cymbal, not having something on the top is not a big deal. That cymbal is, I mean, it would be a rare occurrence that ride cymbal is going to come off. Now, if you're playing harder styles of music, playing metal, playing hard rock, playing in bigger arenas and areas, then yeah, protect the tops, because at that point you're hitting those cymbals so much that they're bouncing around. But again, for most gigs, not having a top or not having a top felt is not going to affect it. And like I said, a lot of jazz players would prefer actually not to have a top felt, because that's less stuff touching the cymbal. But I don't know, what are your thoughts? What do you think about it? How do you play whenever you go sit in on a kit? What is your process for going through things? Put that down in the comment section below. As well, subscribe to the channel, because I've got tons of drum tips, drum lessons, practice sessions, gig videos, all types of stuff coming 3 every week. And if you haven't, jump over to the website, check that out. Share this with somebody you think it may help. And don't forget to leave me a comment before you get out of here. Protect your cymbals, kids!